What's going on, guys? Finally getting around to making my video on how I got a $20,000 payout from Lucid. Just to keep it short, actually, let me pause this video. Just to keep it short, I do just use the 9 and 30 moving averages, specifically the 9 and 30 weighted moving averages. I guess it's just a preference thing. Maybe you can use exponential or simple, but I just use the weighted. 9 is going to be my red line here, and then the white teal color is my 30. Essentially, what I'm looking for is this is the 5 minute on the right side, and then bottom left is my 15, and then my top left is always going to be the higher time frame, is typically the 30 minute or 1 hour. So I do use these moving averages across multiple time frames. I've looked at them for years to the point where I kind of understand where NQ can trade when it's trading, like say below these moving averages, between them and above them across multiple time frames. They just kind of have a pattern to them that I kind of understand. My issue with in the past was I was always trading the 1 minute, so I really wanted to take like almost every trade and every crossover that I've seen. So after I removed the 1 minute and focused on the 5 minute, it really helped me be patient on my entries, and that has pretty much improved my trading, is focusing on these higher time frames and being more patient. So I did record a trade on June 18th, London time, around 11:45 Pacific time. I am in California, so it was a fairly late trade. I couldn't do a voiceover just because my baby was sleeping, didn't want to wake him up. But I did record it too, and I had the mouse hovering so that way uh, I thought about like what I would say in that time and the process, and I kind of like I would highlight what I was gonna say too. So just to keep the video short, I'll start playing the video and I'll kind of cut through and pretty much just show you what I see based off of these time frames. Again, the this right side is the 5 minute. I know it's cut off here, but the bottom left is the 15. Top right, or sorry, top left is going to be the 30 minutes, but you'll see that I toggle between the 30-minute and just the hourly. So let's get into it. Okay, so pretty much what I look for right now, so 5 minute, it's we just had this really huge run up here. So now I'm patiently waiting for a pullback towards the 9, or even if it's trading between the 9 and the 30. Again, the 9 is the red, the 30 is going to be this white bluish line. So I really just want to be patient and wait for a pullback. I'm going to play the video here, and you can see that I'm going to be hovering my mouse over. Um, just to identify like how high it can go. So if you look over, I'm hovering my mouse over the 15-minute here. So like I said, I'm familiar with how it trades when it's even between these 9 and 30 moving averages. So right now, since it's trading between, the resistance that I see is that it can go up to possibly 30,500, maybe 28 or 30,530, somewhere around that zone. It's never going to be an exact number, but it's just like a zone that I have in my head. Sometimes I'll mark it out so that way it's clearly, but you'll see that I keep hovering my mouse over across different time frames. Let me pause it again. So again, this is, I believe that this is the 30-minute. Um, so you can see the 30-minute is a little higher on the 30 moving average, so maybe 30,580. So it does have potential to have that room up just to run up there. But on the 15-minute below, its resistance is at 30,530, whereas the 30-minute resistance could be 30,580. So just keep that in mind. Let me play the video again. I'll toggle between the 1 hour as well too. So this is the 1 hour, and the resistance here is 30,530 area, pretty much same as the 15-minute below. So now I'm kind of getting, okay, maybe it's got some resistance at 30,530, since the moving averages on the 1 hour is the 9 resistance right here, 30,530. 15-minute is the 30 moving average resistance, 30,530. So let's keep it playing. And then I'll take a look also on on the 5 minute and possibly just mark that. You can kind of see that like on the 5 minute, it's really hard to see like, okay, well, we don't know how high it's going to be, and that's where the higher time frame comes in. That's how it helps me identify where it could potentially go. So I'll draw a line sometime. Let me just speed it up here. So this is my horizontal line that I decided to draw on 30,528. It's not the number that I'm going for, but it's just pretty much like a zone that I'll keep an eye on as resistance. And if it does kind of hover around it, I might look to get in if there was a pullback. And that is pretty much my strategy is trading just pullbacks. I don't want to chase this. I want to wait for a pullback and just enter in on a green candle. So let's play this. All right, so now we're pushing towards this resistance area on 30,515. Just keep an eye on the 15 minute, keep an eye on the 30. It's still got that whole room to run. This purple line is the middle point of the price for the day. So the red is shows identifies the low, purple is the middle point, and then there's a green line on top that shows the highest point of the day. So let's play that. So you can see it starts trading near my yellow line. So I'm still patiently waiting. I don't want to play this just yet, just because it's not a pretty good, decent pullback. I'm waiting for to go long. So the strategy is once you see a pullback and you're waiting to go long, I want to see a 5 minute close. Um, or a 5 minute candle close, and then the next candle will be my judgment on whether I want to take that trade or not. In this case, this is a fairly small dip, so I don't want to take that trade yet. I want to see a big red candle, or I want to see like multiple red candles and then a green candle, and that's when I'll look to enter. You don't want to enter on just a red candle. That means you're pretty much buying when selling is coming in. That type of entry has helped me improve my trading a lot. So let me just speed it up some more because this is a 52-minute trade video that I recorded. And you can see that now that wick hit the resistance, and the resistance is on the 15-minute is the 30 moving average. Let's see if it's going to keep breaking through because on the 30-minute, sorry, this is the hour on the top left, but on the 30-minute, it's still got a lot of room, but 1 hour is hitting the resistance as well too, mentioned earlier in the video. Speed it up, and we'll see a pretty big dip coming soon, just because now, like I mentioned, it's in the resistance zone. So either this is gonna pop in my thought process at that time, it's either gonna keep popping, or it might have like a pretty good downward move, which is this blue line or blue zone that I marked. I either want to take a trade here. If it doesn't come here, then that's all right, but it's just kind of to help me visually on the 5 minute entry. So you can see it's just really hovering around this zone, which is again 30 moving average on the 15, and it's really struggling. And then here is where it has a significant drop, but not too bad. So right there is that resistance zone. So it has a potential to come back down is my thought process on the 15-minute to the 9 moving average. Um, but in this case, we had such a big move up. I don't know if it's going to come back down that much. There might be some buyers that still want to come in just because there's not that much selling. So now I'm just waiting patiently to try and see if I want to enter this trade, but I want to wait for the next 5 minute candle to close green. Um, so here's the next 5 minute candle. I do want to wait to close green. Okay, so this next candle closed green. So here's where I look for an entry because now buyers stepped in, but this current candle is turning red. So this is where I kind of wait for a trade. I don't want to blindly jump in on a red candle just because you you're pretty much jumping in when sellers are in play right now. So what I want to look for is you wait a little bit for the candle to form, either a wick on the bottom, which means that buyers are pushing it back up, and the candle turns green, and that's when I'll start jumping in. Even if it's a little later, you can see that I adjust the blue zone because this moving average is, it's dynamic, so you always have to keep moving things around. So I'll let this play out so that way you can see how this candle forms. You can see that this bottom wick is forming. Now it's turning into a green candle. I have my mouse over the buy button. Um, so it has potential, like I said, on the 30-minute that it could go up to the 50,580, which is this midpoint. And on the 30-minute, it's actually the resistance of the 30 moving average. So it's kind of stalled right here. It's a little bit slow because this is the London sesh um, at 11:45. So I'll let this play out. All right, so now it's a green candle. I will look to buy possibly when it gets a little higher because I don't want to get faked out on this buy. And keep in mind this is the resistance to this yellow line, that moving average. It could just blow right through this moving average too onto the next resistance on the higher time frame. And I should be entering soon. And that is the resistance that I drew for the
Order
30
filled.
minute. There we go. So this blue zone right here is the 30-minute time frame resistance. This blue line is the 30 moving average. So it has potential to run up here, which is why I got in because I see buyers coming in. But I actually don't hold that long, just because I'm still looking to grow my account and take profits. I don't want to risk any sort of pullback. So I do set a stop loss here, a manual stop loss, usually 10 points. In this case, this is 9 points. Um, I kind of just eyeball it and guess, like, let's say, minus 10, and then I kind of move my stop loss to there. It has helped me save my account a lot of times. There's definitely a lot of times where I've held um, positions without a stop loss and I'd be down maybe 800 bucks or more and I wouldn't be able to stomach it. But in this case, I just take this loser, and it's going to be down like probably $200 if it hits. So you can see my P&L right here across 5 accounts. Trade of 8 pretty much totals everything together. It shows 5 contracts, but I'm actually in playing one contract across 5 accounts. So it just adds everything up together. So I will let this trade play out so that way we can kind of see how this position goes, which kind of makes this video a little bit long, but that's all right. Oh yeah, I almost got stopped out here. I was like, oh man, bummer. But, it kind of held. And also, if it does stop me out and I see buyers still coming in, I will also look to get back in. There was a few times where that has happened where it would wick me out, but I still see buying coming in. I would just jump back in and then set my take profit to a little bit higher. And I also don't move the stop loss at all. Like, no matter how tempted I am, I just leave it as is. I've been tempted to actually close this position or any positions where I'm like maybe $50 away from getting hit on a stop loss. I'm like, let me just save myself $50 and close it out. But I'm like, nope, let me just play it out, and it's worked out plenty of times. So still in the red. Um, Let's see, I forget when I start getting the green, but I think it starts pushing up here. And I was a little worried on the 15 minute just because it looked like it was barcoding just a little bit. And I am playing the resistance. But you can see on the 30 minute is what I have up. I was really looking to target here, even though I won't take that profit. I'll probably take profit like towards down here, just because I never know if take profit is actually going to hit. So I never commit to a take profit, only to a stop loss. And I believe this was probably a 10 or 15 minute trade. I don't remember. And I also do not move my stop loss to break even. That has not worked in my favor countless times. All right, I think this is when it starts becoming green. The position becomes green. And I was very tempted to take off profit because minimum profit I really need is $150. But I really just wanted to let it run. I know it's double topping here is what I kept an eye on, but I really wanted to break because I sort of have a bad history with double tops, playing the resistance for breakouts of the double top and never works in my favor. All right, breakthrough, and hopefully it doesn't wick down, but um, pretty much, if I remember, there was a point where I was really just focusing on the 30 minute. Also, one other thing is I always keep an eye on the time frames. So let's say, for example, I always look at the time that, like the countdown timer. So if there's like a new 5 minute forming, a new 15 minutes forming, a new 30, or a new 1 hour, new 4 hours forming, that is something to pretty much keep an eye on. Just because price reacts differently every time a new candle forms on these major time frames. So that's something I noticed that it tends to have a reaction. So I either look to stay out of that new candle, or sometimes, I'll hold through it depending on the technical analysis that I've formed. All right, well, I guess I'll just let this trade play out. I don't want to skip anything, so that way you guys can just see the trade live. Not really live, but um, pretty much what I had to sit through. Very tempted to take it off here, by the way. Um, but I really wanted that 30 minute to get closer to the resistance. Just because now we broke through the 15-minute moving average on the 30. Typically when I see this, it means that there's going to be a strong push up. So you never really want to commit to like a resistance level on a specific time frame. So every time it breaks through a specific a moving average on like let's say the 15, then I'll look at the 30 minute or the hour and just be like, okay, well, where is this gonna go now? And that is pretty much what I look for. All right, and we are getting closer to pretty much 20 points closer from the resistance level. And I think I'm gonna exit here, I believe. Yeah, there was a wick that formed, and that kind of freaked me out a little bit, so and I gave it a little bit more time,
Order filled.
or not. Okay, so I did get out on that wick, just because I was afraid. Oh yeah, see, I hovered my mouse over that wick. Once I saw that, I wanted to lock in my profits. And that's pretty much see how close it got to the resistance. And I think we sped it up a little bit. I don't know if I got it. It might be on a different recording, but it does pretty much go towards this midpoint on the 30 minute, 30 moving average. Let's see. Nope. Let me piece that one together. Okay, so to summarize my strategy, 9 moving average and 30 weighted moving averages across 5 minute for entry, 30 minute, 1 hour, and 15 minute. I always have the 15 minute up. 30 minute, I'll toggle between like 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, just for overall bias. Let's say, for example, here, this is the 5 minute red line or the 9 is trading below the 30 blue line here. Also on the 15 minute, red line trading below the blue line. Obviously, it's going to be a short. So on the 5 minute, I'll look for like a significant move down and a nice pullback up. Wait for a red candle to close because I'm looking for a short. I don't want to buy, or sorry, I don't want to short when it's consistent green candles, just because buyers can easily just keep coming in. So I wait for a red candle close, fully closed 5 minute red candle. Next candle is a doji, so I'm kind of about it. I probably will wait because usually I like to enter on the break below the previous candle and give it possibly a little bit more room to come down even more. So maybe I probably would not have entered on this one, might have entered on this one, definitely entered on this one, and then you can just write it down here. And then 10-point stop loss usually might be like above here. That's pretty much my strategy. Always a 10 to 15 point, maybe 15 max stop loss. I'm usually the type that has never used a stop loss, and the way that I've been getting these payouts has actually been using stop losses. So I highly encourage stop losses. Refine that strategy because I'm still refining this one. There's pretty much like multiple ways that I've kind of used the strategy is like let's say trend lines. I've been drawing trend lines and kind of gauging like, okay, do I really want to take this short on the third tap of the bottom trend line because it could easily bounce back up. So that's something I also factor in. I'll probably be making videos about that and how I use trend lines in support for the 9 and 30 moving average. But basically, this is pretty much it. 9, 9 and 30 moving average. If it crosses over, one main rule is I usually don't take a trade on the first crossover because it could just keep crossing over and over back and forth, and you're just pretty much getting stuck barcoding. But if it does have a significant move up like this, then it's possible that there might be a trend change, which is why I took that um, the first buy on that dip, and also it was a significant like expansion, like say the gap between the 9 and 30 moving average. So like here is probably where I would not enter just because I'm waiting for it to expand a little bit more. So hopefully that helped you guys understand a little bit more on my strategy. Maybe I'll make another video that kind of simplifies it a little bit more where the video is not so long and I talk so much. But if you guys have any questions, comment down below and hopefully I can explain and elaborate some more. Thanks.